So today is the 9th day of Austere August, and I'll be working with this Boar brush. It's growing with every shave, the bloom is increasing. Soaking in a little bit of water for a few minutes. That is, you generally should put some water on it. I choose to use the soak method. And the blade we're going to use today is a Nacet, and we've got 10 shaves down with it. So this will be number 11. Soap we'll be using is, I grated a puck just like this, and I put it in a bowl, and it's blooming right now. It's been blooming for 3 minutes right now. By the time I get everything set up, we'll see how long that is, because it's a very practical time frame to bloom it. I just start blooming it right before I start prepping everything. The razor we're going to use is this Blackland dart. I'm really enjoying it. This is the machined version. Handle's just terrific. The machining leaves tiny micro grooves that you really can't see too much, but it provides a really good grip when you're soapy and wet. I really like that aspect about this. Inside it's got that Nacet blade from Gillette. I have lately, last 2 shaves maybe, I've gotten a patch right here that needs another touch up to try to get. I don't know if that's the blade in reaching, in changing into something that's not quite as sharp as it was several uses ago. So we'll see. I'll pay special attention to good technique in this area to see. All right. I'll be using a syringe like this to medicine dropper to add water to the lather. And if I introduced everything in the brush, the post shave is Afta Fresh, kind of feminine, but I'm trying to expand my horizons. And I did learn something. I combined it with Old Spice a little bit, and it was a very nice scent. It helped the Old Spice to just to be a little different, more complex, but the Old Spice kept the masculinity in with it, so it was interesting. All right, I am now going to, we're talking about a 24-hour growth here, and let's get wet. I use cool water, and my water is it's a hard water, which Williams apparently doesn't really have a problem with. Okay, so now it has soaked for about 6 minutes. I think I need to let it go a little bit longer. So it looks like maybe it does need to be put in. This time I'd like to try to hit about 10 or 12 minutes. I've got everything put together already, ready for the shave. So I'm going to pause you and let a little bit more time go by. All right, the time is almost there. I want to show you my kind of history here. Last night's shave was right here. It was a 15 minute soak, and then a 20-second load. Note the night before was a 40-second load. Now I feel like I had enough soap with the 20-second load because I had extra left over. And so I think what I'm going to change this time is just the amount of water that I add in. That's where that syringe comes into play. So we're going to do a probably about a 10-minute bloom by the 11-minute bloom by the time we get to it. And then we'll do a 20-second load. And then we'll add maybe 1 3/4 teaspoons of water instead of 2. Just back it off a little bit. Okay, brush, take it out, sling it out in the sink. So now it's just damp. It's not dripping by any means. Take the soap, pour out the bloom water. And there we go, 20-second load here. And go. So then at the 10-second mark, I'll stop. And there we go. I'm just going to grab the kind of the excess. Put this guy over there. That's just a basic Walmart 4-inch bowl. Just $1 or $2, I think. And so here we go. Empty bowl. This is the I got this at Dollar Tree. It's just a melamine bowl. Unfortunately, a lot of my rules that I've already established for how to tell when a lather's progress as you're adding water, things like firm tips, firm peaks, then long peaks, then long flexible peaks. None of those seem to work with Williams, and that's fine. And so I've had to just rely kind of on the finger method and the measurement method. All right, so let's get my medicine dropper. I'm gonna fill it full of the 2 teaspoons. And then I just have to remember to stop. I'm just gonna add a little bit at a time here at first. Because I want to work the bubbles out. Now once I kind of get some good baseline lathers down, I'll try funky things like adding just that 2 teaspoons or 1.75 to the soap puck, and just seeing if everything just comes together from there without adding anything else. So that's one thing. Just try adding all that water into the bowl right away. I got a feeling that's going to be too much too quick, and it'll get all airy. Lather quantity is increasing as I'm just kind of adding it 1/4 teaspoon at a time, pushing the lather down into the middle where I can kind of stomp on it with the brush, then mixing it around in the middle where it kind of instantly goes up the sides. Don't really know the best way to keep it kind of pasty and thick. I want to get it thick and creamy. But at the same time, I don't want it too dry, so that like that first pass it's extra hard without any slickness and stuff. See that stuff gathering up around the sides, pretty firm. All right, now I'm getting close to the end here. Just want to watch it. Okay, now we're getting a little close. Maybe one more addition and then we'll be done. Lots of lather, just like before. The reason I wrote down all the measurement info was so that, and there we're going to stop, was so that I wouldn't repeat any mistakes. I'd be able, and also I'd know what was a gradual improvement, because sometimes if you correct too far, then you correct too far the other way, and that way, since I had my info, I knew how far to correct things. And then once I get the right info, I'll try to establish ways of doing that without having to have a medicine dropper or anything like that. Now this looks nice and thick. A little bit of elasticity there. Firmer than I usually let my soaps get. I usually keep adding water to kind of other soaps, kind of the artisan crops, you know, but this guy seems to be a little different. Let's do a finger test. Gives, oh, nice cushion. Slickness is not really as much as I would want. Let's just shave with it and see what happens. Maybe I need to, and that's, I do small increments. So, you know, 2.5 or 1.5, I could back it down to instead of 1 3/4. All right, get my face wet again. All right. There we go. See if we can get to the creamy. Feels good. Brush is nice and comfortable, but the head bristles are providing a nice amount of kind of scrub without being scritchy at all. All right, now we switch to the painting. Let's just roll with that. I might add a little bit more water to it, but I don't really want to thin it down. But let's just add a few drops to maybe, because it just looks a little blotchy, a little clumpy. Yeah, I think that helped unblotch it a little bit. You know, it could be that this soap is just specifically made with properties that make it really good at lathering, right on face lathering, instead of building up a lather in a bowl. Definitely have to put that a face lather on my to-do list for this month. Austere August, where we use the same stuff for the whole month. Oh, that's a good cut. It's not dry. You know, it feels, it's nice and slick. You're not feeling any pulling or. I think that's probably pretty good. Not a lot of people watch my videos compared to some of the other guys. Part of that is due to the fact that I'm kind of new to it. I don't have the subscriber amount that those other guys do, and that's fine. It's the way it should be. And, you know, truth be told, my kind of shaving videos are more for like an encyclopedia or a database where somebody's searching for a specific blade and razor. Then chances are, once I kind of complete my work, I might have about every combination out there. I've already got a little grid to line things up so I can fill in the gaps, and so that may help somebody. And so instead of watching every single one of mine, you know, that might get pretty boring, right? But it might help somebody who's specifically looking for a certain razor and a certain blade. Not too slick rinsing it off right then, but it's kind of standard. Even a lot of the artisan soaps aren't like that, because that first pass, I've got oily skin, so sometimes that first pass is really just kind of a pre-shave. All right, so we've got plenty of lather here. Let's just get some of it for the second pass. No irritation, no nicks or anything like that were felt during the first pass. Very nice. If you're new here, the Dart is a razor that is kind of mid-aggressive. It's not super aggressive, but you know, if you've got really sensitive skin, it may be a problem for you. My skin seems to be just in the right spot too. As long as I'm careful with my technique, which I'll show you in just a second, then I get really good shaves, comfortable shaves with it with no problem. If I don't have the right technique, like I started out, this is going to just really irritate my skin, where the third pass, I'm just dreading going over certain areas. And all that is because of this right here. When I first started shaving, I had an angle of about like this. And that's good for my first pass because I got the hair to take down. But now we're going to refine those hairs that are still left. And I'm going to put less pressure on the blade on my skin by bringing the handle in just a little bit. And that relieves some of the pressure. The blade is no longer quite so forcefully being put into the skin. The guard bar, this bottom guy here, is doing more protecting now. And so all of a sudden, what was really growing to be a problematic razor for me has become a very dynamic, enjoyable razor, and all I have to do is vary the angle of the handle, the handle, if you will. If I change that and vary it up a little bit, I can change the aggression of the razor and the comfort level. Keep any irritation from developing. You've been too far, you don't feel any cutting going on. It's okay. You just go back over and lift the handle just a little bit until you hear the good news of the cutting. This is the trouble spot area that was giving me issues last time. I should have taken a little bit more care with it right there. Try to do that with the third pass. There we go, irritation-free shave. And this is the 11th shave on this blade. It's doing great. Very nice. Now, get some more lather. With this third pass, don't really have to worry too much about scrubbing unless you need to kind of spread the soap around to weird places. Looks a little thin right now. That's okay. See, I've got more on my brush to thicken it up with. It's coming. Definitely enjoy this brush. Wouldn't have a problem shaving it with it for the rest of my life. It's a good brush, soft when it needs to be, and it's going to get even better as the days go on, because it's, you know, just like maybe 20 uses old, and boars just get softer and softer as time goes until maybe about 6 to 9 months later. Alright, now I'm going to go over that little tough area very carefully and kind of with light pressure. And I'm getting just no drag on this razor, so the Blackbird sometimes gets touted as having some drag, and sometimes it does for me too, but at least with this razor, if you're getting drag, you need to work on your lathers because they're not slick enough. A lot of people don't add enough water to, don't add enough water to their lathers, and so they may pose well in photographs and things like that. But that doesn't mean they're great for shaving. There we go. Nice. I can feel the blade, but it's I feel it a lot less on that first pass because I guess it's chomping up all the hairs. But on the second pass and third, I feel it more. But it's just consistent, held firmly, not a lot of chatter, predictable, and just not, not rough in any way, and it just comfortable. That's the third pass in the books. I'm going to pause you while I do a full rinse and check out the results. Yeah, I'm starting to see tips with a little bit of length on them in this area. Same thing yesterday. This time I could have done better on the second pass, but let me see if I can. Okay, the direction of them is going down this way. Okay, so let us do a just kind of a straight up pass, and that'll have a slight against the grain component to it. If I go full against the grain on my neck, it usually results in tons of irritation. All right, so I can't do that. All right. Bringing that handle in to help with preventing irritation. I can't go over that way too far because the hair direction changes. I have to come back and do it this way. All right. Did feel a little bit of irritation while doing that, but nothing real big at all. Let me rinse that off. It looks like maybe 2 days ago is when the Nacet started not being quite as awesome as it usually is. I got some just amazing shaves once I dialed in the lather, and even before I actually had the lather dialed in. All these experiments that I've done with different times for the different elements, every single one of these was a awesome slick lather. It may not have had the cushion that I might have wanted, but it was slick and protective and had lots of just glide on with the razor. So I'm not looking for good results here. I've already got those. I can do good any day of the week with any of those settings, but I'm looking for great. I'm looking for luxurious. So that's what we're doing for now. I'm going to guess, because I was kind of focused on the right things. I'm going to guess that maybe on day 7 or 8, the Nacet changed and wasn't as capable of giving me the performance that I need right here to cut these hairs flush. Now, I mean, they look good. Nobody's going to bother me about the looks of my shave, but it's not what it was before. So I definitely call it a DFS and a very good shave. But it looks like maybe the Nacets have changed a little bit. I mean, still cutting well, still consistent on my cheeks. Oh yeah, 95% baby butt smooth without going against the grain. So that's awesome. But the neck is just, this area is the toughest. I don't know whether those hairs are just laying down and they don't want to get up or what, but it takes just peak performance razor and blade to take care of those in just 3 passes. And so in a sense, this is kind of average to above average for me. Now it's below average according to what this blade and this razor have done in the previous week of August. So there we go. I think it might just be the blade wearing down and getting a little bit less sharp. but still it's it's shaving great. And if I could do against the grain on my neck, I don't think it would be a problem. I think if you're one of those kind of shavers, the Nacet's still going to perform great for you. All right, let us put on a little bit of post-shave goo. I should have got just the original scent. I didn't get an honest whiff of it when I just kind of opened the caps and, you know, felt it and stuff. And so I've ended up with a balm or gel or lotion that is a little bit on the feminine side in terms of scent. But the good news is it fades fairly quickly. And it seems to be nourishing and helping my skin to be moisturized. So looks like it's doing its job. There we go. All right, I'm going to clean up and I'll be back. Okay, so we used all the water. I probably added a little too much water. I tried, but I didn't add the full 2 teaspoons. So that might be on the order of, what is that? 5/6. I want to guess that's 1 5/6 teaspoons of water. Darn it. But that's okay. We'll just maybe add a little bit less water next time. Maybe bloom the soap for a little bit longer. I think those are the 2 variables that are, you know, are key here. The 20-second load seems to be good. For instance, I have, you know, this much on the brush and this much left in the bowl, and that was with a touch up here. And that's enough. That's just the right amount. And so that tells me that I'm using the right amount of soap. I'm not wasting soap. I mean, a tiny bit's going down the drain when I pour off the bloom water, but that's just a little bit, I think. Face feel is great. No irritation. Face feels moisturized, so it looks like the post shave's working well. As I mentioned before, the smell of the soap was a little obnoxious in the beginning, a strong citronella scent, but it just took 4-5 shaves before I guess it worked itself out. Enough of it evaporated into the air, and it's just kind of a very light, clean scent right now, and so I like it. I'm glad about that, because it was a little obnoxious at first. And so you don't even have to shred it, put it on a cookie sheet and just let it sit for a while. You can do that. But if you did like I did and you keep it in an open tub, an open container like this, because this is a hard soap, so it likes open containers, I believe. Then by the time you get to about 4 shaves with it, you won't be bothered by the scent, at least if you're like me. So I believe I've covered all of the, it's late, time to go to bed. I believe I've covered all the pertinent details. The Nacet, I believe, may be changing in its sharpness quality. I'm still enjoying the brush. It is doing great. I think I'll maybe try to bloom for a little bit longer next time. What may be happening with the blooming is that if you can get the brush during that 20-second load to kind of pick up thicker soap, thicker, waterier, denser soap, then maybe that spells success for you as far as a creamy lather later. And so maybe longer bloom may be the most effective thing to try. So maybe that's what I'll do next time. All right, well, there we go. I like the Afta result. It's an old school balm, but it's still around because it works. Another one of my favorites is the Nivea post-shave balm. If you get the original, it has alcohol. That'll give you a little bit of a sting idea how your shave went. If you don't want alcohol, you can get the sensitive version, and that's very hydrating. I think they also have a cooling one if you like menthol, but I don't, so I stick with the first 2 I mentioned. There we go. That's it. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Hope there was something here that helped you. Take care. Have a good night.